Hey guys, what's up? This is John Rivera from the Solid State Gamer, bringing you guys another installment in the Quick Look video series. Welcome back. This time around, I'm going to be looking at a PlayStation exclusive, and this title is known as Alien Resurrection. It's a licensed title based off the film itself, and it's distributed through Fox Interactive, and it was developed by Argonaut Games. Now, Argonaut Games, they do have a history with Fox Interactive. They actually co-made the Qiuck series of games on the PlayStation and Sega Saturn. Well, to be specific, the Sega Saturn only got Qiuck 1. It was the PlayStation that got both Qiuck 1 and Qiuck 2. And from what I understand, this was the last game made under Argonaut Games in association with Fox Interactive. So this game came out in 2000, which is interesting because Alien Resurrection came out roughly 3 years before the game actually saw a release. And I think it's because of that this game actually stands out more than the movie itself. I mean, the movies, it's debatable as to whether or not that movie is any good. But, and I guess to be fair, nowadays a lot of people think the same way about this title. But in my opinion, in my honest professional and personal opinion, I feel that Alien Resurrection for the PlayStation 1 is by far one of the most underrated titles for the system. So this game's a first-person shooter, but it's also a survival horror game. And it rides that line between the two genres. And it marries them together in a way that, well, is impressive. And it's something that would not be equaled or surpassed until the seminal release of Doom 3 3 years after. The only thing is that this game came out in 2000 to virtually zero acclaim. In fact, this game got slammed by critics when it first came out. And I'm still curious as to why that is. And of course, I'll go into detail much later on about why I'm surprised this game did not get the critical reception and commercial success that it really deserved. This game is best played in the dark. That much is very true. And here we have it, Alien Resurrection. As you can see, this is just an expose of the demonstration of the camera going in and out of various corridors that makes up the level environment. Let's get into options real quick so I can do my best to explain one of the reasons why this game is underrated and deserves a little more time in the spotlight. As you can see, there's difficulty right here. I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to go normal for this playthrough. So, for better or worse, cross your fingers for me, please. So, we can select whether or not we want crosshairs on or off. I'm going to select them on because it's very important. Head motion, this is basically just your camera bob. And I'm going to leave it on because this game actually does a really good job of integrating motion bob in a way that is organic. Alright, so sound modes. So this game actually supports Dolby Digital Surround Sound, but I'm sticking with stereo because that's what my rig has right now. Sound effects, I'm going to leave it like that. Control options. Now this is where things get really interesting for this game. Control configuration. Invert Y-axis, turn look speed, vibration, and stick dead zones. Now, this game supports multiple control configurations. I'm only playing with one for this quick look, because you can't swap between them on the fly, because of the complexity of the various control layouts. So, you can actually play this game with a classic PS1 controller. It's not recommended. It's by far the worst control schemes in the game because it offers you very little agency, and you have to do crazy button combinations in order to do simple things. I guess the most accessible layout would be the DualShock controller layout. And this allows you to use one stick for moving forward, backpedaling, strafing left and right, and the other stick will control your camera movement and your vertical Y pitch. So basically standard fare for first-person shooters nowadays. The only thing is, this was the first game to adapt it to a DualShock controller. Other FPS affairs like GoldenEye on the N64 had to wrestle about and muddle about with the N64 controller's convoluted design from a physical perspective. However, with the DualShock, that simply wasn't the case. And this is a game that definitely took care of and took advantage of the ergonomic design of the DualShock. But this game thought that wasn't good enough. The folks at Argonaut actually allow the use of the PlayStation mouse to facilitate the camera rotation. And as you can see, it says hold mouse symbol to display combo controls. So I'm actually playing this game with not just a DualShock plugged into port 1, but I'm also using a mouse specially made for the PlayStation plugged into port 2. So I'm going to be holding the DualShock with my left hand on the left side, of course. And so you can see the control layout and how it's supposed to cater itself to FPS control. So I guess the best way to control this is to set my controller on my lap or on my left leg, like my thigh area, and just rest it on that surface while muddling about with the joystick as well as the shoulder buttons and the D-pad as well as the select button. Now, if you want, you can go southpaw and you can switch the mouse control so that way the buttons are flipped. So that way it's not a matter of right click to access items and left click to fire your weapon. You can actually make it vice versa, and you can put it to your left while holding on to the right side of the controller. So this game from the outset makes it as easy and as accessible for the player to choose his or her control scheme of their liking. I'm actually going normal, even though I am left-handed. I will be going right-handed for the mouse control and left-handed for my controller. So as you can see, I'm pressing right-click on the mouse. As you can see, the R and L buttons facilitate the swapping of weapons and items. So there's that. Let's see if I can actually go into mouse options. See, as you can see right here, I'm swapping them back and forth. I'm actually not going to swap them. Again, I'm just going righty for this. Display options. For some reason, this actually makes the game freak out a little bit. We recommend you play this game in the dark. Reduce your TV brightness to its minimum setting. Now increase your TV brightness to gradually until the left facehugger in the box is only just visible. Adjust your screen position by using the directional buttons. I won't have to worry about that. I've already pre-configured this. I've actually pre-played this before this quick look video. And as you can see on my screen, the facehugger on the left is not even visible, but that's just because of my capture card. I apologize for that. I adjusted it as much as I could to make the game as visible as possible in low light conditions. However, this game is just inherently a very dark game, so please bear with the display. But if you notice the display option and how you have to lower the gamma or brightness to make an image barely visible, that was rarely seen in survival horror games. It really wasn't until stuff like Doom 3 or even Dead Space where screens like that popping in from the outset, requiring you to adjust the display before you even start the game, that sort of thing wasn't really heard of, except for this game, but no one ever heard of this game. So this title actually did a lot of firsts for, I guess, the modern age of survival horror titles. It's actually one of the first that proved that survival horror could be achieved in the first-person perspective. So right now I'm playing as Ellen Ripley. You can also play as various other characters from the cast of Alien Resurrection. You can play as Christy, you can play as Call, and you can play as the guy who gets killed in the beginning of the movie. I can't even remember his name because it's so forgettable. He only appears in the first stint of the movie. So as you can see right now, I'm actually rotating the camera by dragging the mouse about my pad. And it works really well. Better than you would expect, actually. Of course, I have no weapons, so my controls from the outside are very limited. So I'm moving forward and back, strafing left and right by manipulating the left thumbstick. Now, clicking in the left thumbstick, or L3, sorry. The controls are symmetrical, but I will be using the left-hand side of the controller. So L3 makes me crouch, and also I can crawl on the ground while I'm prone. And clicking in L3 once again will make me rise up. Same thing with L1. So it's just a toggle. You don't have to hold it down.
Please report to R&D dissection chambers.
Dynamic messages.
In progress.
So as far as presentation goes, this game is pretty well done. It really does make you feel like you're in the ship. So here we go. This is a health pack. Now, it doesn't automatically regenerate your health. What it does is it spawns in your inventory. So right-clicking will use it, but I'm not going to do that right now, because this game is all about rationing your supplies, whether it be ammunition or healing supplies. Again, another tenet of survival horror.
Granted.
So for the first stint of this game, you are without a weapon. And because of that, this game can be quite terrifying at times. And there's nothing on this side, so I'll venture forth to the other.
Come on! Throw over the cliff!
Ooh. That cannot be good. Now, as you can see, these events, I'm just going to lay it out right now. These events are quite scripted. It's one of the things that this game was critically panned for. It was one of the things that critics did not smile upon when playing this game. These are all scripted events. However, I'm going to say that scripted events like this were pretty much characteristic of first-person shooters of the era. And I'm talking about the late 90s. Games like Half-Life, games like Quake 2. I mean, hell, Medal of Honor Allied Assault, one of my favorite games, was a heavily scripted expose of set pieces. But that wasn't anything to really slam those games for, because the set pieces were well executed in those titles. And the same goes for Alien Resurrection. It's done in an effort to craft an otherworldly, scary atmosphere that's riddled with tension, and it definitely achieves that. And by the way, that was a xenomorph that was watching me. As far as I'm concerned, the presentation of this game is well done. Alright, now I have access to a flashlight. Again, what does this remind you of? A lot like Doom 3. The only thing is you can actually hold the flashlight and use it. Oh! Goodness. You can use your flashlight while holding a weapon. So this game did the duct tape mod before Doom 3 got around to it. And I know right now from the outset I'm making a bunch of comparisons. However, that is important because this game that came out in 2000, it did a bunch of things, and it did those things right before later titles released in the early aughts to mid-aughts would do the same thing and get commercial success and critical acclaim out of it, as where this game got left behind. I personally feel that's very criminal. It's such a cruel irony when you think about it. And I cannot see anything. Got an ID card. Nice, we got a pistol now. Now this pistol has infinite ammo. There's dump on people. And as you can see, it's a slow-firing weapon. It's not the spryest firearm you can have access to in this game. But I would dare say that the pistol in Doom 3 fires very slowly, and the same could be said for Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and even Code Veronica. Now, getting on ladders is a very dicey proposition. It's really one of the more antiquated elements of this game. When you get on not elevator, sorry. When you get on the ladder, it switches from camera relative movement to character relative movement. So I'm messing around with the stick right now, maneuvering on the ladder. You know, down to descend, up to ascend. And obviously I can strafe left and right to get off the ladder. There's no real way to get off the ladder otherwise you'll just kind of fall. And this game takes fall damage very seriously. The only way to get off the ladder is to shimmy your way to the left or right. So basically to strafe to either side. So even when I'm facing to the right, up does not make me move forward, it just makes me crawl upwards. And that's why maneuvering on the ladder is kind of dicey. And it can lead to a lot of unfair falls. And like I said, this game takes fall damage very seriously. You can fall like 2 feet and you'll lose like a quarter of your health. That's an exaggeration, of course, but I'm just saying that it does take it very seriously. Go. Destructible environments. I know that is incredibly campy looking. But again, this was 2000 and it's a late generation PlayStation title. Otherwise, I mean, the game looks pretty good. Sometimes you can see tile breaks in the polygons. And of course, the graphics are kind of rickety, especially with your gun, but actually that's a quality of the game I really enjoy. Kind of adds to the eeriness of the game. Of course, it's just a technical limitation, but I think it actually, like Silent Hill, adds to the tension and the creepiness. So there's that. So right-clicking makes me fire off a weapon. And here's a good opportunity to show the, I guess, the crosshair and head bobbing at work. As you can see, the crosshair is actually moving side to side. It's not staying dead center. It's actually moving with the animation of my gun. And only the camera perspective is moving. So you can see right here, actually, let me back up for a stent. You can see clearly that the crosshair is not dead center on the screen. However, the controls are very tight regardless because, even though they're not centered, my shots are clearly going where the crosshair says it's going to. Very expertly programmed.
Warehouse access granted.
Alright, I feel like in the next few moments I'm going to have my first encounter with the enemy. Probably not the xenomorph, the Marines actually. Oh. Headshot. Yes, this game does detect with hitboxes the hard points on an enemy that you hit. And I think that's a reason why... Oh, he just got jibbed. Oh well. I was actually going to show you how thick the enemy models are, or the character models are in general, and that's because they're facilitating hitboxes. And depending on what part of the body you hit them in indicates how much damage you're going to do. So if I shoot somebody in the hand, it's not going to do as much damage as shooting them in the head, which is pretty much a guaranteed one-hit kill. Unless you're playing on hard. You gotta be kidding me. Alright. Took a little more damage than I would have liked. But this game is actually incredibly difficult. Ah, there you are. Alright. Gonna use another health pack. Not my finest gameplay, I apologize in advance. But like I said, this game is actually quite difficult. Now, me and my buddies were actually looking at this game quite a bit the other day, and I kind of drew the comparison between this game and Quake 2. I would say that's a very apt comparison in terms of the graphical fidelity. Now, I'm not talking about Quake 2 for PC. That would be ridiculous. Whew, that was close. I mean Quake 2 for the PS1. PS1 Quake was obviously made in the day and age of PlayStation, where Polyphony Digital finally came out with the Performance Analyzer in association and cooperation with Sony Computer Entertainment. And this allowed programmers to take roughly, I would say, in terms of taking advantage of hardware, roughly 94% of the hardware's muscle to facilitate more advanced 3D graphics. And you saw that in titles like Gran Turismo and Ridge Racer Type 4 and any other games that were post-Analyzer. And there's a clear break between early generation PS1 games and post-Performance Analyzer PS1 games. And this is one of those titles. Piss off. Where's that fire coming from? There it is. Oh, goodness gracious. Sorry about that. This game is not easy.
Will all non-essential personnel please report to lifeboats?
Alright, let's try this again. So we've got immense difficulty. Check. We have a feeling of helplessness in the game. Check. We also have the necessity to conserve healing and ammunition supplies. Check. We also have a tension-riddled atmosphere with creepy monsters in it, albeit they're aliens. Check. And all this is within a game that looks good and has impeccable controls. I mean, this game is just, like I said, I feel this game is just incredibly overrated. I mean, I'm sorry, not incredibly overrated, incredibly underrated. There's such radio silence for this game, it's just ridiculous.
Lifeboats unavailable in this area. Please proceed to the engineering deck base. Thank you for your
Let's go back
cooperation.
and see if I can find that ammunition. As you can see, the frame rate is not the best in the world. It's not consistent, and truth be told, it only takes a few enemies populating the environment in front of your character in order to make things grind to a pretty low frame rate, roughly like 20 frames a second. But
Warehouse access granted.
I would say that this game would have done so much better on PC But you can't deny the fact that this game is just an incredible accomplishment for the PS1. I mean, this game is just fit to the brim. Alright, let's try my best not to get killed. Alright. Oh, I did not mean to use that. Oh well. No, there's another guy around here. Yep, he's chasing after me. As you can see, like I said before, the character models are pretty chunky looking. But I think it's because they were doing polygon on polygon hit detection. And as I said before, the hitboxes dictate how much damage you do.
Task card accepted. Access granted.
Alright, let's face off against this alien once more. One bullet left. If I didn't have that head start of distance over that alien, I probably would have gotten rocked. Alright, I'm just gonna lure these guys out now because I don't want them to ambush me. Goodness gracious. This game's tough, folks. It's not for the weak.
Pressure released.
Alright. I suppose I am doing better than my first attempt. But this game is genuinely tense, and it's genuinely terrifying at moments. And it might be a bummer there not being a soundtrack or anything like that, but I feel like that adds to the tension. Actually, this game kind of reminds me of Enemy Zero. Oh, now I've got the shotgun. Thank goodness. As you can see, there's some graphical snafus happening right now. Again, this game is just fit to the brim. And even with the aid of the performance analyzer, this PlayStation title is just pushing the hardware to its maximum. Okay, I was just here. Nice, I got a medium med kit now. That was Brad Dourif. He's just chilling. Alrighty. I cannot understate how pleasant this mouse control is. It's just, man. It really does make a difference when playing this game. I've played it with the classic PS1 controller, which is just, it's complete balls. It just does not control all that well, and you have to input a bunch of commands and combination of buttons just to get simple things done. The DualShock control scheme is actually recommended. I guess if you have a DualShock, which who doesn't, but I would say if you really want to experience this game for what it is and what it was meant to be played like, get a PlayStation mouse and experience it that way. I mean, it really does make a difference. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, man. Here I was trying to talk to you guys, and I just get ambushed by one of these things. Alright, let's use another med pack. Not cool, Xeno. Not cool.
Pass card accepted. Access granted.
Alright, and this is pretty much the end of stage 1. So now I'm going to contact Call, Winona Ryder's character from Alien Resurrection. I never really liked her acting. Not the character, but just the actress. She always seems like she's a whiny brat whenever she's on screen. I don't know. Alright, that's the stage. Now, one sad problem with this game is that there is a pretty lengthy arsenal of weapons, none of which are particularly true to the Alien universe. I mean, it does have a pulse rifle in it, but the pulse rifle looks nothing like the pulse rifle in Aliens. It just doesn't. Whoa. Okay. So I guess that happened. Now you might be wondering why I'm not trying to jump over this chasm to this other platform. The reason, oh goodness, the reason why I'm not doing that is you can't jump in this game. The only way you can really get around is by walking around or by traversing different floors by accessing ladders and elevators. And because I'm playing a different character, I no longer have my shotgun, which is a bummer. And that will happen. Oh, I spoke too soon. Here we go. No, I guess they didn't make it. Oh well. Now, it's very interesting how they kind of jam these controls. I mean, the control schemes are jam-packed. Even with the mouse control, along with the DualShock, in order to switch weapons, you have to actually hold down right-click and press L2 or R2. Now, to swap through items, you have to hold down right-click and press either R1 or L1. Or you can simply press select. Alright. So I'm going to go prone, access this duct. Traverse through this ventilation shaft. This is where you see the full body consciousness kind of attempted in this game. And for the time, this was pretty much as good as you were going to get as far as full body consciousness goes. And it feels organic. It just feels right. Oh goodness, what is happening? Somebody got killed. Sorry if I'm not talking much, but this game actually is kind of tense. Oh, nice. Ammo for a weapon I don't have yet. Alright. Oh! Whoa. See, this game is good at kind of throwing some jump scares your way. Like I said, this game pretty much does a lot of what Doom 3 would do 3 years later. Get out my shotgun. There we go. Yeah, it's good when you can once in a while pop off some cheap shots and at least take down their life meter just a little bit, so where you only need maybe a couple rounds of your pulse rifle or your shotgun to take them out. Because like I said, ammo in this game is very scarce. Let's get up. Yeah, this guy's not looking too good. I wonder if... You can see the blood decals. Very much a Halo sort of trope. Alright, let's do this. If you guys can hear the dragging of the mouse on the mouse pad or the clicking of the joystick, I apologize in advance. It's just one of those things that you can't... Oh, goodness. It's one of those things that you can't help. Goodness. Like, these guys always interrupting me when I'm trying to talk. So rude. Anyway, the clicking of the buttons and stuff like that. I am actually, in fact, playing these games live whenever I do the quick look videos. So I do very much apologize for any feedback or background noise that you hear, but that's just proof that I'm playing the game live while offering my commentary. So this poor bastard is actually twitching from the electricity. God, so sad. Let's put him out of his misery. This guy's been languishing there long enough. Of course, he's probably already dead, so... My goodness, these ladders. Oh. I cannot tell you how difficult it is to get on and off of ladders. Or not. Maybe I can just... Oh, okay, here we go.
Generator shut down. Power rerouted.
Oh, using auxiliary power. Get out of here. Oh, that's the trouble with those ladders. You accidentally pop off them and then fall down to your death. Luckily, I didn't take too much damage, but you can see now that it is a problem. Man. It's especially a problem when you know that something might very well happen once you get off that ladder. You know, you try to tackle these obstacles with the most grace and finesse, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to be thrown at you once you get off that ladder. Whoa. Okay. Well, he's dead. And we have another save depot. Yes, I would like to save. So hopefully at this point you guys have at least got an inkling as to what you can expect from this game. The game does run the gamut in terms of frame rate, and yeah, there are some elements like getting on and off of ladders that are quite antiquated, and you might not actually have a mouse for the PlayStation at your disposal to experience this game the way it was meant to be experienced, but honestly, I think it's an underappreciated classic. I think it's woefully underrated as a survival horror title, and as an FPS.
Pressure reaching danger levels. Caution is advised.
I think it deserves a little more attention than no attention at all. And if you guys, looking at this video, if you guys enjoy what you've seen so far, there is more of it. There's actually quite a bit more of it. And so if you guys are looking to find your own copy of this game, it's actually not terribly expensive, because of the fact that it's one of those rare occurrences where the game is one that was not successful, and it's one that no one really knows about. So because of that, it's actually quite cheap to buy on the internet. Actually, even cheaper to buy at a local joint that sells used games, because more often than not, the folks who are selling the game, whether online or offline at a retail outlet, don't even know what the game is about. So chances are they price it low, thinking that it's just one of those crappy licensed video games based off a movie. So definitely my advice to you is to use that in your favor and to procure yourself a copy of this game for pretty cheap. I bought this copy for roughly $10, shipping and handling included, and I would say that it's well worth it, because this game is actually a load of fun. I mean, it's not perfect. It does have problems, as you can see. But what it manages to do for the survival horror genre fulfillment aspect of it, it definitely delivers on all of those elements. And like I said, it beats a lot of games that would come out in the early to mid-aughts to the punch. Let's see. Let's get through this little section. I'm going to prep this trap right here. You'll see why later on. I'm going to go prone, crouch. I'm going to back into this little shaft, collect this med pack. I'm going to wait for the onslaught. Come and get... Oh, you made me waste 3 shells on you? That's BS. Oh well. I'm gonna actually crouch. No. There we go.
Pressure released.
Did not go as smoothly as I wanted it to go, but oh well. C'est la vie. It's okay, I had plenty of health packs to use, so. Alright, now I have very few shells for my shotgun. I have to rock this for a sec. And that's how this game goes. I mean, you're going to run into situations where you are just woefully low on supplies. That's right, those crates don't blow up.
Your attention, please. Unauthorized opening of cages 5, 7, 8,
Okay.
and 9.
See if I can get the jump on this Xeno. Close. That was a close one. This is going to be another close one. these aliens, these Xenos, actually do a charge attack at you, and they take off a huge chunk of health, and they can hit you from, I would say, maybe 2 yards away of distance. And now I've got a crunked up laser beam. Whoops. So there's no soundtrack, but you can hear in the distance that there are screams of agony and pain about. Again, same thing with Doom 3. There really was no soundtrack with the game. It was all about sound montages and just ambient noises.
Access denied. Engineering deck 2.
This game, I said it once before, but I'll say it again. This game truly was ahead of its time. And it really did deserve better. I would love to do a live stream of this game being played. Because it's a perfect Halloween game. You know, it's a game you can get together with a bunch of friends and play through. Albeit play it on easy. Shouldn't there be some aliens chasing after me? Aha! Okay. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure when I played this before that a couple of aliens tried to bum rush me, so. That's right, I have to hit this valve first. But this game is one that has a lot of character to it. Even though it is a licensed game, I mean, you could take away the Xenos and, you know, all the other tenets that make this an alien game. Because the weapons, in my opinion, are, like I said, very generic. Oh, here they come. Yeah, you could have taken these Xenos out, replaced them with even uglier nasties, and just called it something completely different. And I would dare say that this game might have gotten a little more recognition than it initially got as a licensed title. But then again, it might be one that would have garnered a higher price in today's day.
Power flow to reactor 2 reduced.
Whew. But as it stands right now, you can get this game pretty cheap. And I highly recommend it. I mean, this game is actually pretty solid. In fact, I've been talking to a guy on YouTube. His name's Riley66 something. I might be butchering his username, but he actually did a video where he was talking a length on Alien Resurrection as a survival horror game. And in my opinion, his analysis is pretty spot on. In fact, once I'm done with this quick look video, I'll definitely make it a point after it's launched on the site proper to link his channel to my video, so you guys can check his work out. His gameplay videos are not really all that clean. They're, you know, here we go. They're not all that clean, but his videos where he kind of just talks in front of a camera, he does talk about some real stuff, you know, stuff that's truly relevant. And he's got some very interesting key points. So, yeah, I recommend checking out his videos. He doesn't have a huge following, but I think he deserves a little more attention. So I'll be sure to link him. Come on. These ladders, I swear.
Access denied. Engineering
Goodness
deck
gracious.
2.
Whoops. Okay, so that's obviously not the way to go. I always hate it when this happens. There's always something very specific you have to do. I already hit that valve. Yep. There we go. Bastard.
Power flow to all reactors reduced. Access granted. Engineering deck 2.
There we go. Oh, that's that was that charge attack. Ah. Anyway, I think that's a good time to call this quick look of finished work. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this this little look into Alien Resurrection, the 2000 PlayStation 1 release made by Argonaut Games and distributed through Fox Interactive in the year 2000. It really is a diamond in the rough as far as I'm concerned. It does a lot of things, like I said earlier, that survival horror games would, in the future, adopt. Games like Doom 3, Resident Evil 4, even Dead Space, years later, would adopt a lot of the tenets that were pretty much cemented in this game. Not only that, but this is actually one of the more satisfying first-person shooters on the PlayStation because of the fact that the control agency is pretty much exactly the same and in some ways better than that of PC-based FPS titles because of the fact that you can use a joystick to facilitate more sensitive WASD movement with your character moving forward, backpedaling, strafing left and right, being able to use that in ways to kind of creep about stealthily and actually get one up on your enemies. Not only that, but this game is incredibly difficult and challenging, and it's very rewarding because of the fact that it's all about conquering the game, and it's very tension-riddled atmosphere. It's definitely a perfect game to play on Halloween, and it's, honestly, if you just take away the Alien Resurrection title, just a game on its own, standing by itself, this game achieves what it does in spades. You know, I definitely recommend it. Like I said, it's a cheap buy on the internet, and I'm sure it's an even cheaper buy at your local joint, wherever they sell retro games in your regional area. So be sure to check it out. I hope to do a review on this game and also maybe a video review on it in the future. But as for now, you guys can check out this quick look, and hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it. Thank you very much for watching. I had a lot of fun playing it. And again, if you guys have any comments or suggestions or just overall criticisms, be sure to comment below this video or go on the website, thesolidstategamer.wordpress.com, and once this article is posted on the site proper on the blog roll, be sure to add your 2 cents, or if you have any advice or any recommendations on future games for me to play on the Quick Look series, be sure to chime in and let me know. Or email us, solidstateromcast@gmail.com. We welcome feedback from everyone. This is all about not just playing games and celebrating games and enjoying them, but also having a conversation about why we love games in general. So be sure to do that. Don't be a stranger and don't be shy. So anyway, This is John Rivera for the Solid State Gamer signing off, saying thank you guys once again for joining me. I really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.